Ever wondered what a confidentiality agreement is and why it's important? Well, let's set the stage. Picture this. You're about to share your secret recipe for success, your unique business strategies, or perhaps even an innovative software you've been developing. But hold on, you don't want this information to fall into the wrong hands, right? That's where a confidentiality agreement comes into play. A confidentiality agreement, sometimes referred to as a non-disclosure agreement, is a legal contract between two or more parties. It's a promise to keep certain information under wraps. This information can range from unique business ideas, undisclosed software, operational procedures, to customer details and pricing specifics. But it's important to note that not all information falls under the umbrella of confidential information. There are 5 key exceptions. First, if the information becomes public knowledge through means unrelated to the undersigned party, it's not considered confidential. Second, if the undersigned party already knew the information before it was shared, again, it's not confidential. Third, if the undersigned learns the information independently from a third party not bound by confidentiality rules, it's not confidential. Fourth, if the undersigned creates the information independently without using the given information, it's not confidential. Finally, if the information needs to be revealed under laws or legal processes, it's not confidential. The agreement also outlines how this information can be used. For example, a broker can use the information to analyze, promote, and sell the company, but they can't share it with anyone without the company's approval. And here's the kicker. All the shared information remains the property of the company, and the confidentiality duties continue even after the agreement ends or the related transaction concludes. So you see, a confidentiality agreement is a vital tool in the business world. It's the protective barrier that guards your precious secrets and keeps your competitive edge sharp. Now that we have set the stage, let's delve into the intricacies of a confidentiality agreement. So, what are the key clauses in a confidentiality agreement that you should know about? A confidentiality agreement, also known as a non-disclosure agreement, is a legally binding contract designed to protect sensitive information. It's like a secret keeper's manual outlining what information is to be kept under wraps, who's responsible for keeping it, and for how long. Let's break down some of the key clauses. First up, the definition of confidential information. This clause specifies what exactly is considered confidential. It could be anything from business strategies, customer details, to pricing specifics. However, not everything falls under this umbrella. For example, if the information was already known to the recipient before it was shared, or if it is learned independently by the recipient, it doesn't count as confidential information. This clause, in essence, draws the boundary lines. Next, we have the obligations of the recipient, often referred to as the broker in the agreement. This clause outlines what the broker can and cannot do with the confidential information. It emphasizes that the broker must keep the information secret and only use it for the purpose specified in the agreement. In other words, if the information was shared to help sell the company, the broker can't just casually drop it during a dinner conversation or use it for any other purpose. The term of the agreement is another crucial clause. It specifies how long the broker is obligated to keep the information confidential. This could range from a few months to several years, depending on the nature of the information and the agreement between the parties. Then we have the exceptions to confidentiality. This clause outlines the circumstances under which the broker may be allowed or required to disclose the information. For instance, if the broker is required by law or a legal process to reveal the information, they're off the hook for keeping it confidential. Finally, there's the modification and jurisdiction clause. This part states that any changes to the agreement must be in writing and signed by both parties. It also specifies that the agreement is subject to the laws of a particular state, with any disputes to be resolved under its jurisdiction. These clauses form the backbone of a confidentiality agreement, ensuring that sensitive information is kept secure. It's like a safety vault for your business's valuable secrets, with each clause acting like a security feature. So whether you're an entrepreneur looking to protect your innovative ideas or a broker tasked with safeguarding sensitive information, understanding these clauses is crucial. They're not just legal jargon, but the key to maintaining trust and confidentiality in business relationships. These clauses form the backbone of a confidentiality agreement, ensuring that sensitive information is kept secure. Now that we understand the clauses, what are the do's and don'ts when dealing with a confidentiality agreement? A confidentiality agreement is like a sacred pact. It carries with it certain rules and restrictions, which, when followed, ensure the integrity and success of the agreement. Let's dive into some of these. Firstly, the golden rule. Never share confidential information without approval. This includes data, business strategies, unique ideas, undisclosed software, operational procedures, customer details, and pricing specifics. It's like having a secret. You don't go around telling everyone, right? The same principle applies here. Secondly, the use of the confidential information must align with the agreement. It's like being given a map. You're expected to follow the marked path, not create your own. The information should only be used for the purpose it was provided, such as analyzing, promoting, and selling the company. Thirdly, remember that all information shared remains the company's property. It's like borrowing a book. It's in your possession, but it's not yours. You're just a custodian, guarding the information and ensuring it's not mishandled or misused. Now let's talk about some don'ts. Don't assume that you can share the information with a third party, even if they're involved in the project. Permission must be granted through a listing agreement between the broker and the company. And don't forget that even after the agreement ends or the related transaction concludes, the confidentiality duties persist. It's like leaving a job. You might not be employed anymore, but you still can't spill the company's secrets. Lastly, don't make modifications to the agreement without written consent from both parties. It's like altering a recipe. You can't change the ingredients and expect the same results. So, there you have it. The do's and don'ts of a confidentiality agreement. It might seem like a lot to remember, but it's all about respect. Respect for the agreement, respect for the information, and respect for the parties involved. Respecting these rules is crucial in maintaining the integrity of the agreement and the confidentiality of the information. But what happens if the agreement is breached or needs to be modified? This is a question that often crosses the minds of those entering a confidentiality agreement. The legalities surrounding these agreements can be quite complex, but we'll try to simplify them for you. If a confidentiality agreement is breached, the injured party may seek legal remedies. These can range from injunctions to prevent further breaches, to damages for any financial losses incurred. Remember, the agreement is a binding contract, and breaking it can have serious consequences. It's not just a simple handshake or a verbal agreement, it's a document that carries the weight of the law behind it. But what about modifications? Well, changes to a confidentiality agreement must be done in writing. They require the signatures of both parties involved. It's not something that can be done on a whim or in a casual conversation. It's a formal process, and for good reason. This ensures that both parties agree to the changes and understand their implications. Now, what about jurisdiction? This refers to the legal authority that will handle any disputes arising from the agreement. Typically, the agreement will specify the jurisdiction under which it falls. This could be the state or country where one of the parties is located, or where the agreement was signed. It's important to note that the jurisdiction can significantly impact how disputes are handled. Different jurisdictions have different laws and procedures, and this can affect the outcome of any legal proceedings. So it's crucial to understand this aspect of the agreement before signing it. Lastly, a confidentiality agreement can be executed in copies. Each copy is considered an original, but together they form a single agreement. This means that each party can have their own copy of the agreement, which has the same legal effect as the original. Understanding these legalities ensures that both parties are protected and the agreement is upheld. So, before you sign that dotted line, make sure you fully understand the legal implications of your confidentiality agreement. It's not just about protecting secrets, it's about ensuring fairness and respect between parties. So, we have covered quite a bit today about confidentiality agreements. Let's take a moment to recap. These agreements are vital tools for safeguarding sensitive information, be it business strategies, unique ideas, customer details, or even pricing specifics. The term confidential information has a very specific definition, excluding information obtained independently or through third parties not bound by confidentiality. The broker, in our example, is obligated to maintain confidentiality, using the information solely for the purposes outlined in the agreement. This obligation persists even after the agreement concludes or the related transaction ends. Remember, any changes to the agreement need to be made in writing and signed by both parties. The agreement is governed by specific state laws, and any disputes fall under its jurisdiction. With this knowledge, you can navigate the world of confidentiality agreements with confidence. Remember, a well-drafted confidentiality agreement can be a powerful tool in protecting your business secrets.